Hello, welcome back to a chapter a day. I'm early this morning because I missed yesterday. So it's just a little after 7 here. So I'm doing my um, yesterday's. I'm catching up for yesterday. So I don't know if I'll read today's as well, but I'll be reading Numbers chapter 5 today. So again, we are kind of going through the instructions from God to Moses for the Levites especially. Not so much for all the children of Israel. It's just for Aaron's sons who will be the priests and the Levites who will be in charge of the sanctuary. So he's giving them the instructions by each one of the sons of Levi. So he's breaking it up into groups. So it's all the males who are um, let's see, was it 1 month, 30 years old and upward. All the males who were 30 years old and upward who could officiate in the service, they had to be counted because this is the book of Numbers. It's a lot of counting and giving account of. So they all numbered 8,580 of the Levites, males from 30 years up to 50, I believe past 50 even. Okay, so, continuing with chapter 5. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they put out of the camp every leper, and every one that hath an issue, and whosoever is defiled by the dead. Both male and female shall you put out, without the camp shall you put them, that they defile not their camps in the midst whereof I dwell. And the children of Israel did so, and put them out without the camp, as the Lord spake unto Moses. So did the children of Israel. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, so the instructions are for anyone who has any kind of illness, um, who has touched a dead person, who has leprosy. Of course, leprosy is seen as unclean. And all of these things are like symbolisms of our spiritual state today. The sickness like leprosy that just eats us away, because when we sin, we separate ourselves from God. And this is what is happening here. That separation, because nothing unclean can come into God's presence. Jesus really broke down the barriers between us and God. And with Jesus's blood, that's what, and I know people, as they say, we don't understand that. It's all symbolic. Jesus's blood is what washes us clean, that we can just sit wherever, in the lowest depths of the earth or the highest peaks of a mountain, and talk to God, and God will hear us. And these people who had any sort of physical infirmities, they were like the representation of us when we sin. We are really needing to be washed clean. So God told them to be put aside out of the camp. Okay. And also, it is part of a cleansing. When we do quarantining, when someone is sick, you don't keep them around you. I mean, it's not like you're scorning, but you're being wise. You have to be careful unless you just really want to get sick. So you put aside the sicknesses, and they will be healed in their time, but you just keep the surroundings as free from all sorts of sickness as possible. Verse 6. Speak unto the children of Israel, when a man or woman shall commit any sin that men commit, to do a trespass against the Lord, and that person be guilty, then they shall confess their sin which they have done, and he shall recompense his trespass with the principal thereof, and add unto it the fifth part thereof, and give it unto him against whom he has trespassed. But if the man have no kinsman to recompense the trespass unto, let the trespass be recompensed unto the Lord, even to the priest, beside the ram of the atonement, whereby an atonement shall be made for him. And every offering of all the holy things of the children of Israel, which they bring unto the priest, shall be his. and every man's hallowed things shall be his. Whatsoever any man giveth the priest, it shall be his. So what's happening here? If someone maybe, and with that a trespass, maybe whatever wrong maybe have done to a person, the person needs to recompense or pay back the person to whom they wronged. And um, it's also not just that, but you're going to give them a fifth extra. So whatever the trespass might have been, a trespass is a wrongdoing. Um, they have to bring a ram for the atonement and one fifth something else, not just one thing. They have to give the person extra. So it's like if you took something from someone, you pay them back plus interest. Okay, verse 11. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man's wife go aside and commit a trespass against him, and a man lie with her carnally, and it be hid from the eyes of her husband, and be kept close, and she be defiled, and there be no witness against her, neither she be taken with the manner, and the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled, or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled, then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest, and he shall bring her offering for her, and the 10th part of an ephah of barley meal. He shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense thereon. For it is an offering of jealousy, an offering of memorial, bringing iniquity to remembrance. So, if a woman is suspected of adultery, her husband is going to, and of course, he's going to not be happy with that. He'll be bringing an offering for her before the priest. Verse 16. And the priest shall bring her near and set her before the Lord. And the priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel, and of the dust that is in the floor of the tabernacle of the priest shall take, and put it into the water. And the priest shall set the woman before the Lord, and uncover the woman's head, and put the offering of memorial in her hands, which is the jealousy offering. And the priest shall have in his hand the bitter water that causeth the curse. And the priest shall charge her by an oath, and say unto the woman, If no man have lain with thee, and if thou hast not gone aside to uncleanness with another instead of thy husband, be thou free from this bitter water that causeth the curse. But if thou hast gone aside to another instead of thy husband, and if thou be defiled, and some man have lain with thee beside thine husband. Okay, so what's happening here? The man is going to bring the offering and the woman before the priest. The priest is going to take holy water. Now, I know there's one specific denomination, and not just that. There are some denominations now that holy water, what they call holy water, um, and they sell it maybe in bottles or give it away, and people can use it to anoint another person or themselves, or holy oil or something like that. So this anything, remember, God said anything that is used in the service of the sanctuary is holy. Anything is holy. So the water, whatever they used the water for, the water will be holy. So then the dust of the ground that is in the sanctuary will be added to the holy water. And then this will be given to the woman to drink. If she's guilty, there's going to be a reaction. If she's not guilty, there will be no reaction. Verse 21. Then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing, and the priest shall, with an oath of cursing, and the priest shall say unto the woman, The Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people, when the Lord doth make thy thigh to rot, and thy belly to swell. And this water that curseth the curse shall go into thy bowels, to make thy belly to swell, and thy thigh to rot. And the woman shall say, Amen, Amen. And the priest shall write these curses in a book, and he shall blot them out with the bitter water. And he shall cause the woman to drink the bitter water that causeth the curse, and the water that causeth the curse shall enter into her and become bitter. Then the priest shall take the jealousy offering out of the woman's hand, and shall wave the offering before the Lord, and offer it upon the altar. So when she drinks that water, the holy water with the dust of the floor of the sanctuary or the tabernacle, the reaction would be her belly will swell and her thigh will rot if she's guilty. The priest will write or record it in a book, and then he shall take the offering out of her hand, because it's called a jealousy offering. Remember, this is her husband bringing her before the priest, accusing her of adultery. Verse 26. And the priest shall take an handful of the offering, even the memorial thereof, and burn it upon the altar, and afterward shall cause the woman to drink the water. And when he hath made her to drink the water, then it shall come to pass that if she be defiled, and have done trespass against her husband, that the water that causeth the curse shall enter into her and become bitter, and her belly shall swell, and her thigh shall rot, and the woman shall be accursed among her people. And if the woman be not defiled, but be clean, then she shall be free, and shall conceive seed. This is the law of jealousies, when a wife goeth aside to another instead of her husband, and is defiled. Or when the spirit of jealousy cometh upon him, and he be jealous over his wife, and shall set the woman before the Lord, and the priest shall execute upon her all this law. Then shall the man be guiltless from iniquity, and this woman shall bear her iniquity. Wow, interesting, isn't it? And that is the end of chapter 5. Now, this is very interesting, and I know some people have been wondering, what does it mean her thigh rots? And we understand her belly swelling, her thigh rots. God only knows what exactly took place. But if she was guilty, that's the only way that would happen. If she was not guilty of adultery, then that curse would have no effect on her. Wow, thank God. I think some people still practice these things today. We call it witchcraft, and I know a lot of it have been, they've tried to blot out of some of the writings and gotten rid of, because apparently, people don't want to go around cursing another person, because we would have a lot of swollen bellies and rotted thighs in our our society today, because there's a lot of that goes on. But thank God for Jesus. Even the world who does not acknowledge God should say, thank God for Jesus. Because all of this stuff has been put aside because Jesus has come to redeem us. And we no longer need to do these things. We go to God, or we practice what is called forgiveness. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go right into chapter 6, because I don't think it's going to be too long. So here goes, chapter 6 of Numbers. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dried. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk. All the days of the vow of his separation there shall no razor come upon his head, until the days be fulfilled, in the which he separateth himself unto the Lord. He shall be holy, and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow. So this is for people who have vowed the vow of a Nazarite, which is a priest or someone who will be totally dedicated to God. Later on in the Bible, we'll read about a man called Samson, who was a Nazarite. Your hair is not to be cut. That's why they speak of the locks. So locks means that your hair is in parts, in certain numbers, For Samson, we knew he had 7 locks. Like some of us do dreadlocks and we have multiple small ones. I guess these were bigger ones that would just be twisted. However, they did it. I don't want to be saying stuff that it's not written. No strong drink, no wine. Now, I think in the Bible they separate strong drink and wine. And I know a lot of people, when they hear that Jesus turned water into wine, the first thing they're thinking about is that red wine that has people's heads spinning after they drink it. But there's wine, and then they said strong drink. So the wine doesn't have to be the intoxicating alcohol that we know. It could be just good old grape juice that's been fresh and who knows, just well prepared. But the strong drink is different. Okay, no strong drink, no wine, um, no moist grapes, no dried grapes, which might be raisins, I guess, and no hair cutting. So this is the vow of a Nazarite. Verse 6, all the days that he separateth himself unto the Lord, he shall come at no dead body. He shall not make himself unclean for his father or for his mother, for his brother or for his sister when they die, because the consecration of his God is upon his head. All the days of his separation he is holy unto the Lord. And if any man die very suddenly by him, and he hath defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the 7th day shall he shave it. And on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons to the priest, to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So, just in case maybe someone dies and he has been in close proximity to that person, maybe a relative, then he has a 7 day cleansing time, and then on the 8th day he will bring an offering. Turtles, I guess they mean turtle doves, and then young pigeons. Okay, verse 11. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, and make an atonement for him, for that he sinned by the dead, and shall hallow his head that same day. And he shall consecrate unto the Lord the days of his separation, and shall bring a lamb of the first year for a trespass offering. But the days that the days that were before shall be lost, because his separation was defiled. And this is the law of the Nazarite. When the days of his separation are fulfilled, he shall be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and he shall offer his offering unto the Lord, 1 he lamb of the first year without blemish for a burnt offering, and 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish for a sin offering, and 1 ram without blemish for peace offerings, and a basket of unleavened bread, cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, and wafers of unleavened bread anointed with oil, and their meat offering and their drink offerings. Again, I will say, aren't we thankful for Jesus? We don't have to go find rams and lambs and doves and whatever else, cakes and fine flour and oil, in order to come to God to ask forgiveness for anything. I mean, these readings, and I know some people might say, the Old Testament readings are no longer applicable, but they help us to understand how blessed we have been in having Jesus come to earth and die for us, so that we are now given that opportunity to go to God boldly. It says, approach the throne of God boldly. No priest. Jesus is the priest. He was the sacrifice. He is now the priest. He's standing there and he has allowed us to come before God. The veil is gone, and we can now go to God freely with whatever the most heinous sins committed by persons I have heard have turned to God. There is no sin. I mean, I have heard some awful things done by people that they are now walking with God. God can forgive. Not that they won't have the repercussions of their sins. Some of them have had to go to prison. Some of them have had to go through some really harsh times because of the sins that they have done. But God forgives everything, the most awful things. But we don't have to bring all these things to God anymore. Only we need is a forgiven heart, a heart full of forgiveness and confession. That's what we bring. That's our offering. Okay, verse 16. And the priest shall bring them before the Lord, and shall offer his sin offering and his burnt offering. And he shall offer the ram for a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord, with a basket of unleavened bread. The priest shall offer also his meat offering and his drink offering. And the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall take the hair of the head of his separation, and put it in the fire which is under the sacrifice of the peace offering. And the priest shall take the sodden shoulder of the ram, and one unleavened cake out of the basket, and one unleavened wafer, and shall put them upon the hands of the Nazarite, after the hair of his separation is shaven. Um, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. This is holy for the priest, with a wave breast and heave shoulder. And after that, the Nazarite may drink wine. So I guess when they have given up that vow of being a Nazarite, this is the separation ceremony that has to go through. They will shave their hair and give the sacrifice unto the priest. The priest will perform whatever rite needs to be done, and then the person will be free of that Nazarite vow, and they can go ahead and drink wine. Verse 21. This is the law of the Nazarite who has vowed, and of his offering unto the Lord for his separation, beside that his hand shall get according to the vow which he vowed, so he must do after the law of his separation. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise you shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Those are those 3 verses that we say a lot in church. Many churches repeat these as part of our, how do we call it? Our doctrinal, as we either come in or before we leave a service. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. And that's exactly what I wish for all of you who are listening, viewing at any time, now, present, past, future. It can't be past, present, or future. Okay, it's early morning. So, yeah, may the Lord bless thee and keep thee, make his face shine upon thee, be gracious unto thee, and give you peace. And until our next viewing and listening, remember, faith comes by hearing God's word. Have a great day until